I handed my resignation letter to Sarah
No,
on
I
a
see.
Wednesday morning. She didn't even look up from her laptop. "This isn't a good time," she said, waving her hand like she was shooing away a fly. I placed the letter directly on her keyboard. She had to look at it then. Her eyes scanned the first line, then stopped. "You're quitting? Right now?" 2 weeks' notice. It's all in there. She finally looked at me, really looked at me, and I could see it. The panic starting to form behind her eyes. "You can't quit. We're in the middle of the product launch." "I can, and I am." She stood up, tried to smile, tried to switch to
Yes.
that fake friendly voice managers use when they need something. "Let's talk about this. What's going on? Is it the salary? We can discuss a raise." "It's not about money." "Then what?" I didn't answer, just turned and walked back to my desk. "You want to know what it was about? Let me take you back 3 weeks. I'd been the sole IT administrator for Hartwell Solutions for 6 years. 6 years of being the only person who knew how anything worked. The servers, the databases, the cloud infrastructure, the security protocols. All of it ran through systems I'd built, configured, and maintained completely alone. They never hired a backup. Never cross-trained anyone. It was always too expensive or not a priority right now. I didn't mind at first. Job security, right? But 6 years is a long time to be the only person holding the keys to everything. 3 weeks before I quit, I submitted a vacation request, 2 weeks off. First real vacation I'd asked for in 4 years. My sister was getting married in Greece. I was the maid of honor. The wedding was planned 18 months ago. I'd mentioned it to Sarah at least 5 times. She always said, yeah, we'll make it work." I submitted the formal request 90 days in advance, filled out all the forms, followed every protocol. It sat in pending status for 2 months. I followed up. Sarah said she'd get to it. I followed up again. She said, "We're just really busy right now." Then, 2 weeks before my flight, she denied it. No explanation, no discussion. Just denied. I went to her office. "Sarah, I need this time off. My sister's wedding." "I understand, but we can't spare you right now. The product launch is critical." "The launch is in 6 months. My vacation is 2 weeks." "Exactly. We need all hands on deck for the prep work." "I submitted this 90 days ago." She shrugged. "Things changed. Business needs come first." I stood there, staring at her, waiting for her to realize what she was saying. She didn't. "So I just don't go to my sister's wedding?" "I'm sure she'll understand. It's work." That's when I knew. I didn't argue, didn't yell, just nodded and left her office. I went back to my desk and opened my personal laptop. Started looking at flights to Greece. Booked. Monica jumped in, trying to smooth it over. "What if we approved your vacation request? You take your 2 weeks, come back, and we work on a transition plan." I almost laughed. "You're offering me the vacation you already denied? After I quit?" "We can be flexible," Monica said. "You weren't flexible 2 days ago." "We need you to at least train someone," Sarah said. "You have to give us the passwords, the documentation, something." "I'll provide a full knowledge transfer during my 2 weeks' notice," I said. "That's what notice periods are for." They didn't look happy, but they couldn't argue with that. Hey, before we continue, 94% of people watching don't subscribe. If you're enjoying this story, take 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. It helps us bring you more stories like this. Thanks. The next day, Sarah assigned Brian to shadow me. Brian from sales. A guy who still thought the cloud was actual clouds storing data. "Just show him everything," Sarah said. I spent 8 hours walking Brian through the basics: how to log into the server, where the backup drives were, what the monitoring dashboard meant. His eyes glazed over after 20 minutes. "This is a lot," he said. "It is." "How long did it take you to learn all this?" 6 years, but I had a background in IT. Do you? "I sold printers before this." "Perfect." Day 3. The CEO called me into his office. David Chin, 50-something. Usually friendly. "Not today. I need you to reconsider," he said. "I can't." "We'll match any offer you have." "I don't have another offer." He blinked. "Then why are you leaving?" Because I asked for 2 weeks off for my sister's wedding and got denied. Because I've been the only IT person here for 6 years with no backup. Because when I needed something, the answer was no. But now that you need something, you're offering me everything. He sat back. That's fair. I get it. But we're in a bind here. You've been in a bind for 6 years. You just didn't notice because I was holding it together. So help us fix it. Stay for 3 months. Train a proper replacement. Name your price. My price was 2 weeks off. You said no. He rubbed his temples. What do you need? The passwords? The documentation? Just give us something to work with. I'll provide a knowledge transfer during my notice period. I'm doing that. Brian doesn't understand any of this. Then you should have hired someone who does. Day 5, things started breaking. The email server went down. Brian tried to restart it. Made it worse. He called me in a panic. I walked him through the fix. It took 3 hours. Day 7, the customer database started throwing errors. Brian didn't even know where to start. I fixed it. Didn't explain how. Day 8, Sarah pulled me aside. You're doing this on purpose, she hissed. Doing what? Not really training Brian. You're being vague. You're not giving him the full picture. I didn't have a lawyer, but she didn't know that. Day 12, the VP of Operations tried a different approach. Took me to lunch. Expensive place. Look, he said, cutting into his steak. We messed up. We should have approved your vacation. We should have hired backup IT years ago. We're admitting that. Okay. So let's fix it going forward. You take your vacation. Come back. We hire someone to work under you. You train them properly over 6 months. Then, if you still want to leave, you leave. But at least we're not dead in the water. I'm going to my sister's wedding regardless. I already booked everything. Right, but come back after. No. Why not? We're giving you everything you asked for. You're giving it to me after I quit. That's not the same thing. He set down his fork. You're really going to burn this bridge? I'm not burning anything. I'm giving notice and leaving professionally. You just don't like that I'm actually leaving. Day 14, my last day. I came in at 9 a.m., put a folder on Sarah's desk. What's this? She asked. Everything. Passwords, system documentation, server configurations, backup procedures, all of it. She opened the folder. 70 pages, single-spaced. This is complete, I said. Every system, every password, every process. It's all there. She flipped through it, eyes scanning. Some of these passwords aren't working. They will when you decrypt the file. Decrypt? Page 1. There's a master encryption key needed to unlock the password vault. It's all explained in the documentation. Where's the encryption key? I'll email it to the company after I leave. Her head snapped up. After you leave? Yes, I'm providing the documentation now as promised. The encryption key will be sent to the company email tonight at midnight. Why not just give it to us now? Because my notice period ends at 5 p.m. today. I'm fulfilling my obligations exactly as contracted. This is insane. You're still holding us hostage. I'm giving you everything I promised. You'll have full access by tomorrow morning. We need it now. You'll have it tonight. The CEO came down personally at 4 p.m. Just give us the encryption key, he said, tired, defeated. Tonight, midnight, I promise. Why are you doing this? I'm not doing anything. I'm leaving a job. This is what happens when you don't have redundancy. You're making a point. Maybe, or maybe I just want to make sure I actually get on that plane tomorrow without someone calling me begging me to come back and fix something. He stared at me for a long moment, then nodded. Fair. I left at 5 p.m., turned in my badge, cleaned out my desk, walked to my car. My phone started ringing before I moved my mouse away from the send button, opened a new email instead. To Brian. Subject. Quick tip. The encryption key is in the documentation, page 37, embedded in the diagram labeled Network Infrastructure Overview. It's written in hexadecimal in the node labels. You'll need to convert it to ASCII. Good luck. I hit send on that one. Then I closed my laptop. My phone rang again. Sarah, I turned it off. I'm writing this from a beach in Santorini. My sister got married yesterday. It was beautiful. I haven't checked my work email. I haven't responded to any calls. The encryption key really is in the documentation, page 37, exactly where I said it was. But here's the thing about hexadecimal conversion and network diagrams. You kind of need to know what you're looking at. And Brian sold printers.